Here I'm in my Year 5 class, and I'm going to create a new science assignment for a topic all about the return to the moon with NASA's Artemis mission. So I'm going into science, and I'm going to find the best place to create my assignment. And in my structure, it's on term 2, and then lesson 1. So when I go into there, I can simply hit the plus button and choose new assignment. There's nothing there at the moment, this is going to be our first one in this particular folder. But of course you can have more than one assignment in there if you want to. And this is great because it means you can organise all the resources you need to share in a really logical and sensible way. Whether that's a collection of revision resources or different sequences of learning, it can be completely flexible to what you want in your classroom. I'm going to call my assignment Return to the Moon, and I'll put the moon emoji at the end for that dual coding I mentioned in the last video to make the assignment stand out for our learners. Next up, we've got a description of what the assignment is going to be. And this is a really good way to put a sentence or two down about what you're planning on teaching and what the learning outcomes will be. This will come in useful for the AI feedback assistant later, but we'll come to that in another video. For now, just put a sentence or two down and it will come in handy, I promise. And then we've got a few different options to kind of tailor and customize this assignment. The first thing you'll notice is the due date. And you don't have to have a due date at all, you can just turn this toggle off if it's open-ended or revision. But actually, if you're doing a class-based project and it's going to finish next week, putting the due date there can be really handy, because when the assignment has passed that date, it will appear at the bottom of the student's page. It's not going to clutter up their feed anymore. So I'm going to go onto here and choose a date in a couple of weeks' time, and I'm going to set the time to the end of the school day. The next option is whether or not you want to include the assignment in the Showbie gradebook. This is where all of your data comes together in Showbie, so all of the assignments, assessments, and activities that have been completed can be assigned a different grade or a different score. You'll find them all in the gradebook. This assignment, I do want it to be part of that gradebook because there'll be an end-of-topic assessment that I share later, so I'll leave this toggle on. And speaking of grading the assignment, we've got 4 different ways we can do that in Showbie. When I tap onto grading format, you can see the first option here is to use points. This is great if you're doing a test or an activity where you've got a certain amount of points available. Maybe it's a test out of 50, or marks out of 10, those sort of things. Tapping on here lets you choose the maximum number of points as well, which is a really handy feature. Next up, we've got custom entry, and here you can essentially type in anything you like. It could be a letter, an emoji, or a number, and that means you can choose the most suitable way to represent your students' achievements in that assignment, without limiting yourself to a certain number of points. So it might be you want to do coloured emojis, or maybe letters A, B, C, D, E, and F. Whatever it works for your context, custom entry will help you do that. Next up, we have the completion. Essentially, an assignment is either completed or it's not. So it's open or closed. Very, very simple, very binary choice. And then finally, we've got no grade, because not every assignment needs to be graded. You might just want to have it there as a resource. I'm going to leave mine on custom entry, which generally is what I tend to do anyway for most of my assignments. And then the final thing when we create our new assignment is enabling student access. Now, at the moment, this is editable by all my students immediately. So as soon as I create the assignment, they'll see it on their devices, and they can start going in and interacting with the content in there. But actually, I'm going to do this the night before, so I want to prepare this but not let my students see it just yet. And so when I tap onto student access, I've got 4 choices again, just like before. I can make it editable, that means students can interact with content, view only, so they can see what's there, they can't do anything. I can have it locked down, which means that they can see it, but they can't access what's inside, they can just see the assignment name, or I can have it completely hidden, which is what I want to do to begin with. Then at the bottom we can set a schedule, which means we can choose when the assignment becomes editable for our students. So I'm going to set that to be tomorrow, and that means when my students open up Showbie in the morning, everything that I've just created will be visible for them. You can also use this to hide an assignment after a certain time, or to lock it down after a certain time. It hasn't just got to be to open it up to make it editable. These access rules are really quite useful, and it means you can structure the learning activities for your students. So maybe you want the marking key to disappear after a certain date, or maybe you want the revision to only appear a week before the exam. Whatever it is you want to do, you can use the schedule controls here to make sure that happens.